In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at graphing lines in the y equals mx plus b or slope y-intercept form. So in the first page here, we're going to take a look at an example, consider the graph of y equals 2x plus 1. So I'm going to start with the table of values here first, plot those points, and then draw the line, and then talk about what the slope is, what the y-intercept is. So the -3 is, and we typically use x values from like -2 to +2 or -3 to +3. You can change that, but often somewhere a little below the 0, a little bit above the 0 are good values to use for tables of values. Not always, but a lot of the time. So this first one, in order to calculate the y value, I'm going to substitute that -3 in place of x here. So the calculation would look like this. We would substitute the 2 in place of x like that. So that's what it would look like. That's the calculation. So 2 times -3 would be -6 plus 1 would give us -5. So this would be -5 here. So for the next one, I'm going to substitute -2 in place of x. So we'll change this to a -2. So 2 times -2 is -4, plus 1 would be -3. So this y value would be -3. Now we're going to do the -1. So we'll change this to -1 in this case. So 2 times -1 is -2, plus 1 would be -1. So next we'll put 0 in place of x. So 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 would be 1. So that's a 1. So now I'm going to stop writing all these out. So so if we put 1 in there next, 2 times 1 would be 2, plus 1 would be 3. So this is going to be 3. And you should start seeing a pattern here. -5 to -3, it's going up 2. -3 to -1 is going up 2. -1 to +1 is going up 2. That's why this is a line. 1 to 3 is going up 2. See, if I put 2 in place of x here, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 will be 5. So this next one is 5. And then we go to 7. So those are our points. So -3, -5, -3, -5. So we put a dot there. -2, -3. So left 2, down 3. Left 1, down 1 for the -1, -1 point. So a point right there. And then 0, 1. 0, 1 would be here. 1, 3. So over 1, up 3. And then 2, 5. And then 3, 7. And we can draw our line. So if we draw a line through those, that's what y equals 2x plus 1 looks like. Now let's take a look at, I'm just going to move these text boxes out of the way here. So I want to talk about the table of values here. So let's change colors here. So I already mentioned some of this. To go from -5 to -3, we're going up 2. So these are actually the first differences I'm going to write here. So -3 to -1, we're going up 2. -1 to +1, we're going up 2. From 1 to 3, you're going up 2. So every one of these, you're going up 2 between successive y values. And what that looks like in the graph, if we take any pairs of points here, so actually if I do the first two from -5, that's the first 2 points for these ones. See, if I go, see, I'm actually going over 1, and I'm going up 2. So that's actually the run, and this is the rise. So see, 2 divided by 1, Remember, rise divided by run is slope. So that's why these first differences are all 2. If I take any successive points, I'm going over 1 and up 2. So again, there's my slope. Okay, let's move on to these. We're going to use that idea in order to graph some of these. See, here's the y-intercept. That's the b value. That's 1 right there. And the slope is, remember, it's rise over run. So it's 2 over 1, which is this 2 here. So that's the slope. B equals 1 is the y-intercept. So flipping over to the second page here, it says graph each of the following lines using the slope and y-intercept. So y equals 3x minus 2, so the slope is this 3 here. And if it's not a fraction, remember, if it's a whole number, the denominator is automatically 1. So 3 is my rise, 1 will be my run. The y-intercept here is the negative 2. And don't forget to use the sign here. So it's 3x minus 2, so that belongs to the 2. So the y-intercept is at negative 2. So we would put a dot here at negative 2 on the y-axis. And the slope is 3 over 1. So we're going to the right 1. And then we're going up 3. So that would be another point on the graph. Right 1, up 3, that would be another point on the graph. And so once we get 2 or 3 or 4 points plotted, we can draw the line. And so that's what that line looks like. That would be y equals 3x minus 2. Second one here, y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. So and in this case, the coefficient of x is a fraction, so I don't need to put that 1 underneath for a denominator. So that's my slope. The y-intercept would be the 4 on the end here. Now, negative 2/3, I can actually think of that as negative 2 over positive 3. And I'll talk about putting the negative in a different spot in a moment here. But we need just this to start with. So the y-intercept is 4. So we put a dot right here. And if the slope is negative 2/3, that means that the negative 2 means I would go down 2 and then to the right 3. The 3 is positive. So there's another point. If I go down 2 to the right, 1, 2, 3, that's another point on the graph. And so I can draw my line. So it would look something like this. Now, I said you can actually write that negative 2/3 as instead, I'll write it down here, I could put the negative in the denominator instead. I could write it as 2 over negative 3. I could put the negative in the denominator, and sometimes that's convenient. See, if I started this point right here, that was my y-intercept, remember, then a rise of 2 mean I would go up 2, and the negative 3 run would mean I would go left 3, and see there's another point on the line. So that's a different way you get other points. Okay, so last example here says write an equation in y equals mx plus b form using the slope and y-intercept. So A is the red one here. So if we look at the graph here, see it's going through the y-axis at negative 3. So B would be negative 3. And we need a couple points on the line in order to find the slope. So if I start with this point right here, you need to identify another point that's exactly on the line. So notice it seems to go exactly right through that point. So if I join those and make one of those right triangles, there's my run of 1, and it goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 would be the rise. So rise over run, so 5 over 1, which equals 5. So again, using y equals mx plus b, I'm just going to type that over here. Oops, plus, not equals. So then for my equation here, I'm going to substitute that 5 in place of m, so it'll be y equals 5m, x, sorry, and then the y-intercept is negative 3, so minus 3. So that would be the equation for this particular line. One more to do here is the green one. So again, the reading from the graph, it goes through the y-axis at 6. So the b value for b, would be 6. And so let's get a couple points. Now I could use that point. I'm going to choose this one instead because I got a little bit going on here. I want to make it, don't want to be drawing close to other stuff. So let's use those 2 points. So you'll see we're going down 1 and to the right 2. Now if we're going down 1, then that rise is actually negative 1. We're going to the right 2, so the run would be positive 2. So a rise of negative 1, a run of positive 2. So my slope, well, I guess I'll write it over here. It would be negative 1 over 2, which is the same as negative 1/2. So again, using y equals mx plus b, I'm going to write it in the same form. So the slope is negative 1/2, so we're going to put negative 1/2 right here. So it would be y equals negative 1/2 x, and the y-intercept is 6, so this will be a plus 6 on the end. And that's the end of the tutorial.